nothing. It's me, your boy, the hottest dude in the podcast game, Sebastian Conelli. And as always, we have the cute boy here himself, Robbie boy. Robbie, say hello to the beautiful
What's
people.
going on, beautiful people?
Really dressed like a child, and we love that for you today. Really dressed like a child.
Yeah, put Mickey Mouse on.
Not even basketball season. This is absolutely tremendous. We have a fire guest. This guy is so funny. I'm sure that you've seen him do stand-up. He does stand-up all around the United States. His clips are fucking viral, every single one of them. He has an amazing Amazon special shelf life. Check it out. He also has a podcast called The Downside. Give it up for Gianmarco Soresi.
Hello.
What's
just
up?
Just so you know, it's Soresi, just for the podcast.
Soresi.
It's fine.
I said it wrong?
Yeah, but it was fine. I don't give a shit. I don't care.
Soresi.
Now, do you know? You remember when you coached?
This is
Oh, the finger's already out.
An instant finger pointing. I got some shit to say too. All right, Gianmarco? Don't fuck with me. Go ahead.
Way back before stand-up, I was dabbling in improv.
Okay.
And
hey, let me tell you this. You made the right choice.
It was like a little team. It performed at the Tank, and we hired you to coach. I think once, and you're very good. But there was like a moment where I made a choice in a scene that made everyone leave the stage except for me. And obviously we needed to rap, and he was coaching, and he said, "No, don't rap it, stay." And just to like. It was a shaming tactic.
Okay.
And it was a moment where I had created a sscenario where I had ended the scene.
Okay.
And Sebastian was just like, no, nobody help. Stay. And let me just stand there for a good amount of time.
Okay.
And I never forgot it. It was one of the
God.
it was it was the kind of shame you don't have those moments.
Wait, all right. Who's there though? How many? There's an audience.
I mean,
is there an audience?
No, just improv. It was training. It was coaching.
So
it was in
coaching.
Champion Studio. There were 3 people in
So
the room.
who's shame? What's the shame you feel from these 3 other people?
I
in
can
the
generate
room?
enough shame by myself.
Really?
I don't
Okay,
need
you
anyone
don't need
else in the room.
anyone.
But it was I will always just remember it. I will never. Just that moment of just like, you son of a bitch. And
Oh,
you said,
wow.
no, nobody help.
Nobody help.
And it was just.
Did you grow from that moment?
Look at him. He's
No, I quit improv.
You couldn't.
No, don't you dare.
That's what happened.
You did not quit improv.
No,
at
you
that
were
moment.
you were a good coach, and I
But that is a dick move.
It is a dick move.
You went to theater school. What the fuck? I'm sure you have real trauma from teachers.
I do.
How dare you?
If you were
He comes out
if you were
immediately.
older than me, I think I would have been like, wow, that was a good lesson. But when it's someone your same age, you're like, fuck this son of a bitch.
Yeah, I get it.
But you were a good coach. I like mean. I like my teachers mean.
Wow.
You do.
I like teachers who yell.
Wow.
I like teachers who shame.
Okay.
And it's been so long since I've had that. You kind of lose that as an adult.
Well, I'm happy I gave you that.
You're welcome.
Fuck you.
Yes, thank you.
Now we will be silent for the whole podcast. You must talk.
I can see you if I mess up a run of jokes. No, don't help. Don't help.
No, leave him alone. Leave him alone. I remember that time.
You do?
Yeah, I remember meeting you. You know why? Because you sat on the floor, shoes off, crisscross applesauce, and you proceeded to eat 4 bananas in a row. You proceeded to eat 4 bananas in a row, and I saw you today, and you slammed 2 bananas on a 2-minute walk. You're the banana boy.
Oh wow, you eat a lot of bananas. Hey, bananas are good.
He literally had a backpack and like revealing them one at a time, pulling them from his bag.
How many more do you have?
Just now, today?
Yeah.
No,
in the
I
backpack.
ate 2 earlier today.
And that's it.
4's enough.
4's a lot. Of
It
course
is
I
a lot.
remembered you. 4 bananas in a
Good.
row, shoes off.
And you said this kid needs some shame in his life.
He's
You
living
have
too
no
free.
Wow. How many bananas are you putting down a day? You clearly haven't stopped the habit.
However many I can get for that $1 at the fruit stand. So if I'm in a place, five bananas for $1, I'm eating all 5.
That's what it was. You must have got 4 for $1.
Yeah. It
That's
can't
incredible.
be good. I don't know, but I'm so big, I feel like it's okay. Some people are like, 1 banana a day is enough. And I'm like, I'm 6'4".
You're huge.
I'm huge.
You're so big. I stood next to you and I was like, I forgot how tall he was.
Yeah.
You're a tall man.
And that's why you're like, I'm going to make him feel small.
I did not make you feel small. I love this. We haven't had real drama on the pod
Never.
yet. I'm so excited.
No real drama.
it's
No
been
one to
long
come on
enough.
immediately
It's
accuse
been long enough.
Sebastian.
That's amazing. How long did you hold on to that? This
What do you mean? He's just like, oh.
Well,
what do I have to do to put you at peace? Around
no,
this
no,
moment?
we are very much at peace. I'm just trying to think, like, what is it? Because I have grudges, and they shift. They go
Sure.
away. Sometimes they fade. Sometimes
Okay.
you feel. But you're nice. You've been nice to me since.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Let's just
It was
have
a
one moment.
long time ago. It was pre-COVID. Anything
was-
pre-COVID
yeah.
wiped out a lot of beef.
A lot of
I mean,
grudges?
this honestly
Yeah.
probably was 8 years ago.
Yes. It
This
was
was a long time ago. I
long
probably
time
might have been
ago.
living with my mother in Staten Island still.
Sure.
This was
That's
long.
what I said to me in the moment. I said, he still lives with his mother in Staten Island.
Yeah, but she was a beautiful soul.
Yeah.
Is your mother Italian or your father, right?
Father's Italian, and not even that Italian. I'm sure you're much more Italian.
No, I'm not. I lie. I'm half, but I'm really a quarter.
I think I'm even less than a quarter.
Really?
Oh, wow.
I had some random Sicilians reach out, like with the last name Soresi, on Instagram, and they were like, I think we're related. But then they said they might be Jewish.
Oh,
and
wow.
I said, oh, my God, I'm Jewish on both sides. But my dad really raised me as if we were 100% Italian, and he was.
I fucking love that.
I think that's what you are the most. Is like the culture that you're raised. I would say.
Yeah, but it wasn't the real culture. Like he'd be like,
The
oh, we have a Soresi sauce. And he would, one day I said, how do you make the Soresi sauce? First step, you put the ragu in the microwave.
Oh no!
And then you put it on a pot and you put in some butter and sugar and some shit, and so it tasted really good.
Sure,
but it was not.
But
it was not like some recipe on a piece of paper written down.
Wow.
So
what he he saw movies. He like grew up in a neighborhood.
He watched The Godfather. Once we were at a restaurant. My little sister, she said the dish was spicy. My dad started like yelling at the waiter for lying that it was spicy. And I took a bite.
Maybe he was full Italian.
Yeah, he sounds
maybe. Maybe.
Just started screaming at the waiter. You gave my daughter a spicy fucking dish.
The screaming at the waiter, the cheating, for sure. He had
The
those
cheating?
two elements. The cheating.
Oh, the cheating.
The cheating.
The cheating is the most Italian thing he's ever done.
And I think that's what he did. I think like when my mom found it and other people, he was like, hey, I'm Italian.
That's beautiful.
It was only for the bad things.
Oh, I love that. Italian for the bad, not the good. No culture, no art, never went to a museum.
Never. He would give money to the Met when he had money in like the 90s. He would go to
Okay.
see Pavarotti. My mom said he'd fall asleep beginning of aria. So he's there in a suit, the greatest singer of all time, singing, and he's asleep.
That's amazing. A snorer?
No, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
But just so the waiter. So I took a bite of my sister's thing. As my dad's yelling at the waiter.
You gotta try. Someone says something spicy, you gotta try.
And I mean, we're talking. It's as spicy as this iced coffee.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And I say, Dad, it's not spicy. And he says, don't ever go against the family.
Oh, that's a big line. That's a big Italian
So it's
line.
Italian, but only in Godfather quotes.
Yeah.
I love that. I actually think the less Italian you are, the more that you fake it.
Yeah.
The more that you have to put on this air. Like, my grandpa never pretended he was Italian.
Sure.
Because he was.
Yeah. Did he wear? My dad, he wore. Well, you can't call them wife beaters, but we called them wife beaters. So
Every
wife
single
beaters.
fucking day.
Yeah.
Never forget.
Now, do you still say wife beaters? Oh shit! I got to get more wife beaters.
I say tank tops.
Yeah.
In my home, we weren't allowed to say wife beaters. And
Really?
we weren't allowed to say guinea tea.
Yeah, you're not allowed to say guinea tea.
Sure. We say a guinea tea. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that was a bad word for Italian people. My dad
Wop
did not
and
like
guinea,
that.
and sometimes wop, guinea, dago. Right?
We're playing with all of them.
I didn't say it. You did. Yeah. No, you can.
I get to say the slurs. I'm Italian.
No, you can.
We'll pull up the 23andMe right now and let the audience be the judge.
But are those slurs even used?
No.
No.
It's my dad has like old Brooklyn
Yeah.
bullshit, you know? It's because
Yeah.
he grew up around Irish people that would say that.
Sure. Because what is without papers?
Oh,
think
that's
Did you
what
know
it is?
that? That's what WAP is, without papers.
WAP, the original without papers. Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it means something else.
Wet ass pussy.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. My dad, I was watching the South Park movie with my dad, and that song WAP came on, and he goes, "Wow, I can't believe they wrote this song." And then I had to tell him about the Wet Ass Pussy song, and then I said, "There's a music video too." He goes, "Oh, let's watch." I go, "Dad, watch it on your own time."
I like that your dad thought that they made a whole song about an Italian slur.
I mean, that's South Park.
Yeah, that is
They
true.
would do that. They get away with that shit too.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Half Italian, huh? Well, then you're half Jewish.
Yes, but mom Jewish, and for the
Yeah.
Jewish people, that's full.
That's what matters. You did birthright?
I did do birthright.
Nice.
Yeah. Luckily, it wasn't very propaganda-y.
Really? I've heard
it is.
I heard it is.
That's what they say. There's different trips you can go on. Like
Okay.
they really like. There's the culinary one, and I did just the activities one.
All right,
so
that's
like
fun.
I rode a camel. I went to the Dead Sea, and then they had a 30-minute speech about how important Israel was.
Sure.
But all the soldiers, because they have soldiers join your trip.
Yeah.
And most of them were all pretty like liberal, kind of
Ah.
anti. They were two-state solution.
Sure, what does that mean?
That's like, let Palestine have some stuff. Let Israel have some stuff.
Great.
And I think it's all falling apart. I mean, it's definitely.
Yeah.
I'm not educated enough to know.
No, neither am I. I didn't even know the two-state solution slang.
I had some person after a show. She was like, I live in Israel. We do comedy shows. I'd love to get you. We raise money to fight against like the terrorists. And it was one of those moments where I was like, I gotta figure out how you define terrorist.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Yeah.
Though.
Sure.
America does lots of bad things too.
Very bad.
We just do it even further away from us.
We're a big bully.
We're a big
and we do
bully.
it behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And then we keep everything in the family, but we're abusive to each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're abusive to each other. It's not good.
Yeah, nothing's good.
Nothing's good.
Oh, there we go. There we go. We've hit the point. How many minutes in? 10 minutes in. We hit the
Nothing's
is good.
I mean,
I'll do
I
a
don't
show in
know.
Italy because Italy can't do shit. They don't have the power to
They
do
don't
anything.
have comedy
they
shows
don't
really.
have. Oh,
They have
really?
Yeah,
few
I'm gonna do
forms
one,
of-
and I'm gonna go to Milan.
Oh, you
Oh,
are? You're
yeah.
doing a show in
Yeah,
Milan?
That's
yeah.
a real
Oh,
city.
that's
That's
nice.
why.
You see, I mean, listen. I need to make some friends with Italian comedians, but some of these countries, stand-up comedy is newer,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you don't even have to watch the translation. The setup is so long. It's like a 50-second setup for one punchline.
Yeah.
I've watched like stand-up in China,
Uh-huh.
stand-up in Italy, South Korea, Germany, and it depending on when they started it, it's always like it feels like what our stand-up was 50 years ago.
Sure. It's
You
you
know.
could just tell all from setups.
Yes, or it's like super gendered and like
Yeah.
women do this kind of,
Mhm.
and that's it. And the crowd,
Yeah.
Well, because no one was allowed to say that for years.
yeah.
No one said that publicly, so finally they're like, "Oh, finally someone's speaking our of thoughts."
I wish I'm gonna learn Chinese so I can just go women be shopping and just like have a career again.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Milan, yeah, I think that what's his name who just had a special does comedy in Italy.
Matteo Lane.
Matteo Lane.
Matteo Lane, but he
Yeah.
can speak
Yeah.
fluent
Yeah.
Italian. I don't know if he does it there in English or Italian. I mean,
He must do Italian
I could never learn another. I did French
Okay.
in school or like
in
Duolingo.
school. In school, I
Oh,
tried doing
interesting.
Rosetta Stone for Italian,
Yeah.
and I don't know a single.
Yeah.
And you want to learn it because they tell you now. They say it helps you fight dementia to know a second language.
You worried about
Oh,
dementia
really?
already, bro? You're 34.
Oh, I am. You're not
I'm
thinking
absolutely
about it?
worried about
I'm not
dementia.
thinking about dementia for a second.
It's
It's
Maybe
just
that's
a
because
tough
it's already
way to
creeping
live.
in.
I don't give a shit. Let it creep.
I
know.
just wish they had told us that like in middle school. I would have studied a lot harder.
Yeah.
I play the piano a little bit. That probably helps dementia. I do
Wow,
puzzle.
I didn't know this. See, you're thinking about it.
I do puzzle games on my phone.
I'm
That's
Googling
like what I do
yesterday.
for fun.
Just
Sure.
smoking
They
weed
say
every day.
crosswords helps with that.
Yeah.
Not crosswords.
Yeah, I
I
know-
would have said crosswords.
Yeah, you're doing like Wordle.
No, I'm
You're
doing
like, this
like
must be fighting the deadly disease.
I'm doing like riddles.
Okay.
riddles.
Do you want one?
Yeah, tell me a riddle.
Okay,
I
I'll tell
love
you a
riddles.
riddle. Let's see how, and I'll tell you how far you're into dementia. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's this man, and he has two sons, and the man was very rich, right? And he dies, and in his will he says, "I will leave all my fortune to the son with the slowest horse." So the two sons say, "Great, we will race to figure out who gets all the money with the slowest horse." The two race. The race never ends. They stop. They go, "We can't do this. We're racing forever." They go to a wise man. The wise man goes, pss, 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 tells them what to do. They go back. Within a minute, someone loses and someone wins. What did the wise man say to them?
Do you know this one?
No, I have no idea.
Does that mean that it's too late for us?
What did the wise man say?
I'm sorry to hurt you.
Can you
again.
imagine you go to a doctor's office and instead of a CAT scan or anything, he just tells you that he goes, "Uh-oh."
Uh-oh.
Wait, so all right. Can I ask for a clarification? So
Sure,
they
clarification.
were the same speed to begin with, like that's why they were racing forever. The two horses.
Because-
Like why were they racing
I don't
forever?
think this information is will help. Like if it would be part of
Because
the
then you could do a
riddle.
time trial.
Listen, no, there's no time. Whatever horse is slowest
Okay.
will win all the fortune.
Yeah.
So you're racing to lose.
Yeah.
Whatever son has the slowest horse loses. Will win all the money, right? So you're racing to lose. That's
You
why
need
they
to
never
force
ends.
them to actually race.
Great. That's exactly it, Robbie. Now, how did the wise man force them to actually race?
I don't know, some sort of food at the end of the finish
Food,
line.
what are we talking?
That's
Some
too
sort
logical.
of-
It's too logical.
That's actually very logical.
Yeah.
It's very
And
logical.
can I tell you something?
What?
I got this before the guy even finished it.
Oh, he's a genius.
Oh my
Dementia
God.
king.
I like puzzles. I like puzzles.
I'm trying to. You try to break outside the box. You know, you look back and you go, "Oh, why didn't I look at it that way?"
I know it's so simple when you hear the answer.
Okay, so maybe they asked the horse a math question to see if the horse is slow mentally.
There we go. I wish no.
For a second,
you thought
I was like, really?
It's a wordplay on slow. It's no wordplay. It's just a logical.
Not
what's
a
the
time
most logical
trial?
thing to do? Figure out which son has the slowest horse.
I give up. I don't got it.
They switch horse. They switch.
That's exactly it. They switch horses. So then you're riding the other person's horse.
Yeah.
It's very logical.
Got it.
I'm really nervous.
No, I think
About dementia?
About dementia, yeah.
It's okay.
God, I hear when I
Maybe
can't
do
figure out
Duolingo.
stuff like that, I go, I'm stupid.
I also think I just do brain puzzles all the time. So it's not even smart. It's just you train your brain to think like that.
Sure. But that's what my girlfriend always tells me when she like destroys
agree.
me in Wordle like every night. And I'm
Yeah.
like, maybe I'm stupid.
No, I think it's a game. Because, like, I do the New York Times mini.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I've been doing it every day.
Every day?
Yeah, I've been doing it every day. Now I'm in a group chat with my
I don't
mom
believe
and my
him
brother.
for 1 second.
I've been in a group chat with my mom and my brother, and we send our scores every day, and I usually win. Like, by a significant margin. And my brother did very well on, like, essay. Like, he outshined me academically.
I take the ACTs every
But,
morning.
really.
And I check in with my parents.
But I think it's a game because you learn how to play the puzzle. Like, the puzzle has a game
Sure.
within a game. Like, Wordle is a game. Like, all of these
Yeah.
things are, like, so like, people can get good at the game within the game, kind of. And then it's like, all right, you're better at this thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know kind of what they're looking for.
At what age do you think people could stop asking you what your SAT scores were? Does it not fucking matter anymore?
No, it doesn't matter. Oh, that's another test that is literally the correlation of,
ask.
like, money that you spent on the test.
That's not directly. I spend money on the test. I only
Yeah,
did
but
so well.
yeah, but you
I'll
would
take
have
that.
done a lot
Right
worse.
there. I
You
poured
would have
money
done
into
a
that
lot
test.
worse.
Think about how bad you would have done.
But you would have done a lot worse.
It would have been so bad.
The average score is pretty low.
I think the numbers for math and reading comprehension do show you something. Like math, like my math score does reflect that I'm decent at math. And my reading comprehension, I think, goes to show that like I have trouble retaining details. For sure.
Same. I was the same boat.
So I do think it's like useful. I think like some people, you know, if you have ADD or it's just like your brain works. But I think so much of getting older is trying to accept the ways that you're stupid and figuring out a way to navigate life with the few things you're good at.
Sure.
And hiding the rest.
Yeah.
Hiding the rest?
With
Leave it
comedy,
open.
Yes.
with work, with everything.
I agree. And everyone figures out a way to hide it. Or they're a beautiful soul. And everyone just knows, oh, yeah, that's blank Bob, you know? And they just give him an adjective for how he's shitty, and he's just a nice guy.
Yeah, but that's life accepting.
Yeah.
Because in college, I was like, oh, the things I'm bad at, I'm gonna
Get better
at.
at?
I'm gonna figure it out.
Interesting.
It's interesting you went to drama school and you were good at math.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay at math. I wasn't a genius at math.
Sure,
And the mathematicians begging me, please stop singing, please. They were saying, please stop singing, but not to help with the math.
Yeah.
No, you have a nice voice.
I had a nice voice. It's fine.
No,
you know what happens? People say that to me. They say it's nice, and I think my gut reaction, I'm like, it wasn't good enough. Because I wanted it.
For what? It wasn't good enough for what?
What,
See?
Broadway?
Broadway.
Okay, that
to
was the
sing
goal?
all the songs I wanted to sing. I wanted to be a tenor. I wanted to be like a leading man. And sometimes people will say to me, they'll see me sing, they go, wow, you have a nice voice. And then something in my brain, I go, hey, maybe I do. And then I go in the shower and I go to sing the song that I want to sing from Rent or from whatever the fuck. And I crack on the high note and I go,
You're not practicing.
Even when I did.
You cracked on the high
You
notes?
crack.
I think what's tricky about singing, like if you want to be a basketball player and you're 4 feet tall, you're gonna figure out sooner than later. Oh, I'm not gonna compete in the NBA.
Well, this is
But as
everything with the arts, I would say.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Sure. But with
yeah.
singing, especially, it's just like it's in here. Some people get better. And so you go to college, you spend all this money, and by the end of college, you go, I don't think whatever size and length, it's just not happening.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Especially for tenor. There's just some notes you won't be able to hit. Because they're
Of
too
course. And cracking is so embarrassing.
high. Oh God. I was in Once Upon a Mattress. I was the like the narrator, and there was a high note right in the beginning, and I would get so fucking stressed because I would crack. And I would go falsetto, and after the show, my director would go, "Stop going falsetto."
Do you remember what the line was?
I don't remember. What's the I'm only thinking Camelot songs now because I'm thinking of my costume.
Oh yes.
What was?
Do you know what note it was?
No, it was very high. Why? What note can you sing up to?
Oh, I mean, now back in the day,
Talk
like
about your
if I had to like hold a G,
yeah,
it would be.
You were shaking.
And like I kept thinking like, oh, I wanted that A, and then I wanted the B flat, and like I never even got the F sharp was still not always there.
Yeah, what are you doing? You couldn't even dunk. You wanted to do the Vince Carter.
Yeah. And then you go to sports. Yeah, you said a musical theater. Let me get a sports analogy. That'll
You
help
just
put it
did
together.
basketball. Imagine you on the basketball. And that's why I picked basketball.
I looked at it. I saw the Mickey Mouse before I saw the Lakers. You know?
Yeah, same.
No, I did sit down. You're rocking the boat, and that had a high note that I had to hold.
You would
down.
be good at that. That's the role you'd play.
That was my best role I ever did.
And the devil will track you. Yeah,
that was pretty hot, and that was a showstopper.
No, it's if it doesn't go through, forget about it.
If people aren't screaming, there are numbers that are exist in musicals. If people aren't screaming by the end, you failed.
Yeah.
There was that one in Waitress for the boyfriend that like is dancing on the tables. If you're not screaming by the end, did you ever do a showstopper number?
Oh yeah, well I did. It was in Carousel. It's a song called Soliloquy. It's like a 9-minute song. 9 minutes.
I've seen Carousel.
And there's a song he imagines what it would be like if he had a boy, and he's like, I'm gonna teach him to be a man, and he's like, but what if I have a girl? And then he goes, if I have a girl, I'm gonna I got it.
My little boy.
Yes. And then at the end he's like, if I'm gonna to protect the girl, I'll go out and make it or steal it or take it. And on that take, which is the note, I went take it or die. And it was like no one could make eye contact with me when I went back because with comedy, sometimes I think I went to comedy just to hide in the subjectivity of it, to hide the shame. You know, if you have a bad set, you have a bad improv set, or like your improv coach says something really shitty to you, like you can hide in like.
You know what? I stand by it. Go fuck yourself.
You can hide.
I was his coach one time.
You can hide in the like. Oh, well, you know, it's still audiences are always different, blah, blah, blah. But when you go, there's no question
that it was bad.
You did not do what was intended.
I do love that about comedy because it's either bad or good. There's no mistakes.
Yeah.
I guess there are mistakes.
But I also think that subjectivity lets some people who need to hang up their hats stick in it for a long time.
But here's the thing. I still coach improv. We need them. We need them out here in these streets. No, I'm kidding. These are all jokes. No, but we need these bad people.
Improv, yes. I think there's what's weird about our profession is I do think a lot of people could benefit from like a little improv or a little stand-up.
Yes.
The problem is there's some men, mostly.
Yes, definitely.
Going like, hey, I think this is my thing now.
I know. Especially I would teach 101s and there was a lot of like finance bros or like in tech and they're like, oh, I was the funny one. And they think just being douchey is the funniest thing that they could ever do.
Yeah. I was always very mean in like with improv. Like I think my comedic choices are always like mean.
Interesting.
I want my character to be mean. And I think when the teacher told me once, like, stop making mean choices, that's when I knew I was like, oh, I think stand-up is more my thing.
Sure, because
you were like, stuff. I don't want to be mean.
Yeah, I'm judging stuff, and I want to be mean. I love improv. I wish I could go back now. I think I have the confidence now to not be great, but be better. And I think it's such a bummer that improv, it's tough to scale it up. I think it's such a great art form, and it's like, you know, there's either you could make, you know, a little money at a popular theater like a UCB someday, but other than that, how do you can't? It's hard to go tour with an improv group because if you were to split the money I make on tour amongst 4 people, it's brutal.
Well,
it's brutal with one.
Yeah. You know what it is? It's then you teach. So you tour and teach. So then you go away and you spend. It's not like you go see a town. You go, you teach, you do a show, you sleep, you teach, you do a show, you go home.
Yeah.
So it's just like full days of work that you go away to do.
I just wish there was more. I wish people understood it better. I wish every town had like their little home team or whatever. I mean, it's because it's such, when it's good,
It's
I
the
think
best.
it really is.
Yeah,
it
yeah.
really is beautiful.
Oh well,
I
I
agree.
was excited when they came Middleditch and then came out with the special on Netflix, and everyone was like making fun of it. Like all the improv nerds were like making fun of it. I was like, why? This is a
Sure.
great like.
100%.
Imagine this goes amazing and everyone loves it. Then us people that aren't famous might get to do it one
Sure,
day.
but it's so rare someone who does improv can make fun of another comedian. You got to let him have a little piece.
Yeah.
I say, because stand-up comedians, I feel like I kind of started stand-up after this era, but stand-up comedians would always shit on improvisers, and now we're all doing crowd work, and we're all like doing improv just
Every
with
single one of you.
every single one of us.
Everyone is doing. I think that will die though.
I think it'll fade. I don't think it'll die. I think it'll be its own like little form, and I think
Yeah.
like they won't go viral as often.
Sure.
But I think it exists as it's always existed. Crowd work is not new.
No. I guess just the clip aspect of like making sure that like because that's you don't want to burn material.
Yeah, and that, I mean it is tough. Once
Yeah.
I all it took was a couple shows where I saw an audience member like whisper a punchline in someone's ear, and I was like, I don't want to post material anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. Or I had a heckler. Of course, so she was like a fan. She was drunk. She showed up to a show. She was in the front row, and she was like saying the punchlines with me, like
sing along.
I gotta do a sing along.
Yeah.
And then we had to have her removed. I mean, it was brutal, and I tried to do it as kindly as possible.
Because she liked you.
Yeah, she liked me, but she was, I mean, impossible.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she texted me through like I have a text service, so she texted back the text
You
service.
give your number to everyone at your show.
Yeah. And she said, I hope you get sent to a concentration camp so you can write new material.
Wow.
And I
She
was
thinks
like,
you're gonna be productive there.
she thinks it's like an artist retreat of some sort.
She's
She
gonna
not
learn
know
about
how
what a
they work?
concentration camp is. Jesus. If only he had some free time on his hands.
You didn't know it was Hitler's biggest complaint? He was like, the Jews keep using the same punchlines. Enough.
Send him away. Wow. You're on the road a lot now.
Yeah, pretty much every weekend.
What's the worst city you've been to? What's the city that you would tell someone don't go? It doesn't mean I actually think those cities are great for comedy because they need something.
Yeah.
Don't go to visit, not
Yeah.
don't go to do stand up.
I've spent now a lot of time in Edmonton, Canada.
Okay.
And it's known as the Texas of Canada, which is
Oof.
an insult to Texas.
Okay.
And
I wasn't expecting
wow.
that. Why?
And like the only reason I feel like people in Edmonton, if I say if I'm on stage, I had a good time here, they go, no, you didn't. They're like, stop it. And all
Don't
they
lie
really
to us.
have
We
there,
know it.
all they have there is like it's the second biggest mall in North America.
Okay.
Like they have like an
Mall.
ice skating rink, a go-kart, a roller coaster, a seal show
In the mall.
in the mall.
Okay.
And it's just sad.
Sure.
So, but I'm going back there next year, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
What are
It
you gonna
sounds
do?
like they're fighting that like trope of Canadians are nice. Like
Yeah,
they're-
Canadians are not. I've had plenty of mean Canadians.
they just say sorry.
Yes.
They
Yes.
just say sorry. They don't mean sorry.
Yeah.
As a man, you could just say sorry.
As a man, you could just say.
Sometimes you don't mean it.
Yeah, people
Not
say
at
sorry all the time.
I don't
and
think I've
mean
ever
it.
met an apology in my entire life.
Really? Ever?
Never.
No,
Never.
I mean it.
Ridiculous.
But how do you know these days? What's everyone? Whenever someone gets in trouble online and they're like, "We need an apology," I'm like, what do you?
Yeah.
You don't want it. It doesn't give you anything. You don't know if they mean it in their heart.
No.
If they mean it, they'll say it without you demanding it.
Yeah, but there's something so challenging about like making a video apology online because in a way like you're then publishing it. So you're posting a video for people to watch.
Of course.
Or like some people are like, I got in trouble. Tune in for the podcast. I addressed the allegations. And you're like, so you're telling me to listen to your fucking podcast?
You're
There's no
monetizing.
way.
You're monetizing.
I think with some people when they get in trouble, what I miss is there used to be a day like someone did something bad, someone else would punch them.
Yeah.
And I think people went like, okay, you got your punishment. But we got rid of punishment. We got rid of physical violence.
Yes.
Which is probably good.
It's
but,
good.
But now, no one ever feels like anyone got their due. And so there's a way where like people just hang on. Like there's no way to make it better.
Sure.
So I'm thinking of like very specific things in my head right now, but we don't have to
So
go
you think
into them.
someone should have punched Miranda Sings?
I do think that if
know who that
she
is.
did a show where every like 8-year-old in the show got to like kind of slap her like 500,
Yes.
I do think we'd be like, Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
As
got
opposed to got the ukulele and
Oh, everyone smashed a ukulele over Miranda's head.
everyone. That's a brutal. I would never advocate violence, but I'm sure. I'm sure if she found out she could be absolved by having 500 kindergartners break a ukulele over her head, she'd take that deal in a heartbeat.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yes, 1,000%.
It's so interesting. You don't know anything about this. Colleen Ballinger.
Okay.
You don't know anything
Colleen
about this?
Ballinger is Miranda Sings?
Yes.
Okay, no, I heard she has a
This
YouTube
is like someone who
channel.
finds out wrestling is fake for the first time.
Is-
I know.
Wait,
what?
you're saying that's not her?
She has
Wait,
a YouTube channel? What's her shit?
Miranda with the big lips
The big
wasn't
lips?
a real human being.
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, she like she's been around for a long time, but
Okay.
like popular
for
on
kids.
YouTube for kids. But
Yeah.
but like
And what did she do?
she, I have to go into it, but like being weird with her fans.
Okay.
What people call grooming. I don't think she was accused necessarily of like assaulting anyone, but like being weird and messaging
Okay.
weird
She
things.
was saying weird
and
stuff.
then like her work was weird, and now it's
Yes.
being viewed like she would have these kids on stage for crowd interactions and like make jokes about them giving birth
Yeah.
or like a smelly puss or something. It was like weird.
Yeah,
I don't know if a
like,
ukulele is gonna
And
solve
well,
this.
so
Yeah.
but
This is
then
borderline
she also made
pedophilia.
like Miranda Sings made a Gangnam Style a version of Gangnam Style. You know that
Okay,
song?
yeah.
And you listen to it and it's like it's the worst thing you could imagine of what that would be.
Okay.
Just weird Asian-y sounding words in an accent. And of course it got 8 million views. No one ever noticed
Sure.
it. But I think it's like this is someone who made it outside of the system.
Yeah.
So never had any kind of gatekeepers in a way.
Yeah.
And it made me like realize the importance of gatekeepers only in that it's important for someone to be like, hey, don't publish that video. But
some eyes on
because
you.
her only
Yeah,
gatekeeper
yeah,
is the
yeah.
algorithm and the fans,
Sure,
she's
yes.
like, I think this is good. This is going great.
Yeah.
And then one day
yeah,
she gets
yeah.
in trouble and everyone looks back on it now and they're like, what the fuck is this
You've
from
been
8
doing
years
for this.
ago?
Yeah.
And there's hundreds and hundreds of
Yeah, it's kind looking back, it is weird.
interesting.
That is good. Do you like show people your clips before you put them out?
No, I run things by I'll ask my
I mean,
girlfriend.
it's an honest question.
No,
You said
yeah,
that you
yeah,
like
yeah,
I'll
it.
ask my girlfriend about some
That's
jokes,
good.
and
Yeah,
and
yeah,
sometimes she thinks like I don't know, and I go no, sometimes I have to disagree, or like
Yeah.
we'll watch a comedian we love, and I go like I think if I asked her, hey, do you think this joke is good that we just watched and she loved, that she'd be like no, and I have to remember that part of the job is like questioning that no,
Yes.
but you're gonna fuck up. I'm sure I fucked up. I'm sure I will fuck up. It's more just I think it's about the body of work at the end of the
Sure.
day. You
Yeah.
hope. You hope people doesn't just take one thing, or we got tired of it. I don't know. I mean, have you ever said anything in an improv show where you were like, oh,
Yeah, all the time.
yeah,
I've made mistakes that I'm not gonna repeat them.
sure,
Because thank God they disappeared.
yeah,
Thank
and no one was in the
God.
audience to begin with, so it's fantastic.
It was tremendous. It was absolutely amazing. No,
but improv, but like it's the same thing with crowd work. Like sometimes you fuck up in crowd work, and you're like, sorry guys, I was literally thinking off the top of my head.
Please forgive me.
Yeah.
But I'm quick to in the moment. I'm not coming out aggressive.
You came out, you're like, I'm the Gangnam Style guy, and they're like, no.
No, but I've definitely made mistakes. Oh my God. When you say Gangnam Style, I used to do kid shows when I first got out of college. And we would go to the schools, and Gangnam Style was like the rave then. And everyone would just stand up and do Gangnam Style, all these kids at us, performers.
Wait, just like in the middle of the show.
Someone would just go, just say Gangnam Style like a kid, and they would all stand up and just start doing the dance. Just absolute mayhem.
Oh wow.
It was absolute mayhem. And we would just freeze. I was doing improv show for kids, and I was never more stressed.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't even say, oh my gosh.
You couldn't say gosh?
You can't say gosh.
Why? Gosh.
You can't
Because
say
it sounds like
It's close. It's too close to God.
Sure.
Too close to God.
I used to do family shows at this terrible club called LOL in Times Square. And there was one time, I mean, again, it doesn't really matter, but I came in once and I forgot it was the family show, and I did my like regular set that ended with a graphic orgasm bit where I like grab my hair. It was about herbal essence. It was about herbal essence. It was about, you know how herbal essence was like, the whole thing was like, they put the shampoo in and they had the fastest orgasm, like in the commercial. And I was like, you could never sell anything with a man's orgasm. Can you imagine me putting on shampoo? Like, oh. And then I look out at the crowd and see all these families. I'm like, oh my God. What have I done?
You know how many little boys went home and was like,
Tried that.
Mom, can I take a shower? Mom, can I use that VO5?
But sometimes people bring kids to shows, and you're like, and it's not a family show, and I'm like, I'm not adjusting.
No,
My act, but then it's on them, but I'm still the guy saying the thing on the stage.
Sure. Yeah.
So it's that's why it's always absurd when people are like these parents, they brought kids to drag shows. It's like, yeah, well, that was their choice. You brought your kid to. My mom brought me to see Ralphie May when I was 14, and he went over all the different fingering positions in a long bit on stage. And it's like, first of all, it was amazing. That's the age you want to see that.
Yeah,
That's the
Nothing's
age
funnier than
I remember
that.
that bit
Yeah,
I'd never even touched a vagina, so I was just like, oh wow, now I know what to do. I'm gonna do a frog, and she'll dig that.
Ralphie May taught me, baby.
She'll come like Earl Lessons made her.
Oh, Jesus Christ. No, I mean, my parents would let me see wild movies when I was a kid. But like American Pie, I was very young when it came out, but it was made for me. It's not made for 20-year-olds that are having sex. It's made for people that aren't having sex yet.
Yeah. My dad let me watch the movie Species. When I was like 6 or 7. It's about like some like in a lab they created an alien type new species, but she also happens to be the sexiest blonde woman you've ever seen in your life, and she's trying to procreate. She's trying to procreate the whole movie. So she's like, she's making love with guys and killing them. And then I watched this one scene where she was having sex with this guy, and she was on top. And the moment he finished, because she's a species, she immediately got like fully pregnant and delivered right then and there.
Oh my God.
And luckily, my dad was in the room to explain to me that in real life, you come on their back.
Robbie, I'm a flawed man.
Okay.
I'm a flawed man. Let's just say it, okay?
All right.
One of my flaws, going hard at the gym for 3 days, once a month. Once a month, 3 days, I slam it in. And I'll tell you this.
I have the same flaw.
People that do that, we have the sorest muscles in town, right?
It's the worst, yeah.
The walking up and down the steps like that, right? The arms. We have sore muscles than people that go every day.
I mean, you have all the cons of the gym, none of the pros.
All the cons, none of the pros. But I got a pro.
You got a pro?
I started rubbing CBD all over my body if I go to the gym.
Okay.
When I got those sore muscles from those 3 days a month, I rub CBD all over my body. It smells beautiful. Oh, God, it's absolutely tremendous. It makes me want to take longer breaks at the gym so my muscles get more sore, so I enjoy the CBD. I risked it, bro. I've been going 2 weeks in a row.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Danger. I might start getting used to it.
Okay.
No freaking way that's gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna keep going sporadically and keep rubbing CBD all over my beautiful big boy body.
So Sunset Lake has this hemp salve plus arnica massage lotion, I guess I want to call it. I'm gonna use
don't
some
put
of
it
this.
on you.
Wait, I can't.
Put it on me.
I want to put some
it on me,
myself
Rob.
Because
Rob, I did shoulders today. Can you put some on me?
So I'm guessing that I have to put a decent amount and like really rub it in.
Rub it in.
Until
This feels good. Oh yeah, that's how straight men do it. When we rub each other, we make fists.
Well, is that
like bull?
Straight men.
Oh God, it feels good.
I've been sleeping funny. I should use some of this. Oh, it does feel good.
It does feel good. It like got
a
little
good
tingle,
smell. Yeah,
eucalyptus
it has a good kick
vibe.
to it. Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I'm going to the gym.
It smells
3
great.
days a week, hard, once a month.
Sunset Lake has a ton of great products, this being one of them. They're also doing a promo right now where you can get free gummy bears, which what's better than free gummy bears? We love free gummy bears. Since I was a child, gummy bears highlight of my day a lot of days.
But you got to use the promo LOUD loud. LOUD loud when you go to Sunset Lake to get those fun CBD gummies.
And if you want the free bears, you can go to sunsetlakecbd.com/coupon/freebears. Or use coupon code FREEBEARS at checkout, and you can get some free gummy bears along with your oil.
Beautiful.
If you want. 500 milligrams CBD in this. This is great.
All right, Robbie. We got to get back to the pod because I am getting loose.
All right.
But it was definitely, I don't know, if I had a kid, my dad let me watch some stuff I shouldn't have, but that's just how I learned you got to learn about the stuff at some point. What are you going to do?
No, I wasn't allowed to watch it at all. I wasn't allowed to watch PG-13 until I was 13, and it's like you just go to school and get made fun of. And it's just, I don't know anything. And it's just, I go to school, and then people make fun. One day, I didn't know what 69ing was all day. Yes. Everyone in the entire grade found out I didn't know what 69ing was and made fun of me. So it's just like, all right, this is the alternative.
Yeah. Well, my mom and my stepdad, that house, we weren't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
Yeah, same.
And I had little siblings, so I would come from my dad's, and I'd like have Austin Powers quotes in the chamber.
Yeah.
And just be walking around the house all the time, like, yeah, baby. Do I make you like even watching Austin Powers? Like, I didn't know what horny really meant when I first saw that.
No. Yeah.
I don't know. You got to learn at some point.
I feel you. Yeah, my parents were like free with the movies, but then also I would get stimulated by these movies.
Sure.
I've jerked off in the US 16 and on Staten Island, the movie theater bathroom.
Oh my God.
I've been with my family, same row, same popcorn bucket, had to have left to go jerk off in the bathroom.
And were you like, I'm making this quick so no one knows, or were you like, were you gone? They came out, credits rolled. They're like, where'd he go?
No, I didn't have a choice. I made it quick, you know?
Oh, sure.
I was so overwhelmed by the movie, I had to like run out.
Yeah.
And it's not the movies you expect either. It's not going to be the movies that you think.
What movie? There's a specific movie in your head right now.
Definitely.
There's a moment.
Cold Mountain.
Cold Mountain, the Civil War movie with Jude Law?
Yes.
What was the moment?
It was when who's the character actor in that movie? Was it Philip Seymour Hoffman?
I've never seen it. I can look it up.
It was either Philip Seymour Hoffman or the maybe the guy from Sideways. I'm so bad with names.
Paul Giamatti? I'm terrible with names too.
Yeah, especially even new names, like new actors' names. I can't fucking remember anybody.
I'm doing a show tomorrow. They were like, Emma Roberts is going to be there. And I was
Jude
like,
Law,
Harry
Nicole
Potter
Kidman, Renee Zellweger.
Renee got fucked, but
Philip Seymour Hoffman, Natalie Portman.
Really? Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Philip Seymour. So Philip Seymour Hoffman, there was these two girls that showed up to like his like needed safekeeping. Or he needed safekeeping, so he showed up to a house. He's like, "Can I stay with you?" Great. And so it was Jude Law, Nicole Kidman, and they were like clearly romantic. And then two like what Hollywood would say ugly sisters, you know, like a tall, skinny, pointy one and a big fat one, right? Like the cliche archetypes. And those two, then they were like, "Okay, we're gonna take Philip Seymour Hoffman out to the barn," and those two fucked Philip Seymour Hoffman in the barn. They
were sisters.
Yes.
Oh God.
Threesome.
And they had a threesome in the barn with Philip. It was the two of them and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh God.
And I just had to run out that room to go jerk off.
As someone who has two sisters, I could never imagine them getting along enough to fuck someone else. Like that would end in a fight so goddamn fast.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh yeah, I want to have sex with twins."
Yeah.
And then you're like, they're sisters, dude.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
No, yeah. It wasn't the sisters part. It was more that the threesome parts, and it was like
I get that
this woman with massive breasts. It was like if you're gonna have two women, why not make them totally different and like experience everything rather than just two basic normal looking hot girls?
That's true.
Oh, it was and it like clicked something in my mind. It was just this massive titty girl riding Philip Seymour Hoffman as the skinny one like sat on his face.
And
oh wow, this is pretty good.
It was very good.
Did you leave like so much that your parents like the moment it came on, you're like, I gotta go?
It was definitely obvious.
I wonder what it's like because
you didn't wait till the end of the scene. You're like, I've seen enough to get this out.
Can I be honest? I've never seen that moment in the movie ever again. Out of fear, I'll come instantly. No, I just don't. You know,
every time you go in a Civil War museum, you're like, oh, why am I so hard?
I got kicked out of Gettysburg. That's revolutionary, right? Who knows? Fuck history. But I remember just being like so taken back, and it's like I feel happy I have that memory.
Oh, for sure. Those are beautiful memories.
That's so
I remember I was watching Swordfish for my 13th birthday.
Halle Berry.
And Halle Berry just takes. First of all, Halle Berry and Hugh Jackman in that movie couldn't be more beautiful people in the entire world. They're peak beauty.
Oh.
And Halle Berry just takes down her like suntanning thing and her tits are out, and we just paused it.
Mm-hmm.
And none of us went to the bath. We didn't like take turns going to the bathroom.
Sure.
But like we just watched it. That's a weird thing. Guys do weird things. Like
yeah,
I'm not a strip club guy, but like people go to strip clubs together. I'm like, I want to get horny with my boys.
Sure.
We just want to be hard next to each other.
Yeah.
For me, I've never understood like the concept of if you're going to go there and then maybe there's sex workers, you're going to go to the end. That makes sense to me. But to go somewhere and just feel that and then just have a boner and then have it like kind of hurt and ache and you go and you pay money.
It's what everyone complains about.
Yeah.
With if they're she blue balled me, like all that asshole shit.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want to do that?
It's same with massages. You're like, what's the point of a massage without a happy ending? Do you get happy ending massages?
I have.
I got one.
I have gotten one. They're great.
They're great.
And I remember I told my therapist about it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. I was like going through stuff and like thinking about that. I love how I'm trying to justify it. I was
It's
like,
justified. I mean, you left a good tip.
I left
have to.
a huge tip. I'm very proud of my tip.
Yeah.
Huge.
My
Not the
tip
one
is
she jerked,
incredible.
but-
No, not at all.
This is to make up for the other tip.
And I went there, and it was actually like a massage place, and I like couldn't get hard, and she was just like jerking off my soft dick.
Did she give you a massage first?
Yes.
Okay.
And that's the best part of the happy endings, because you know it's coming.
Sure. Well, that's what when I get a regular massage, after I getting the happy ending massage, now when I get a regular massage, I'm like, oh, this is pretty much the same thing. You're touching. I mean, this is an intimate experience. It's just one part at the end.
Wow.
I did it in Amsterdam.
Great.
And it was, but I wasn't sure. I was looking for a happy ending massage, but I didn't know if this was a real one. And I had this terror of like, I had this terror of I'd be like happy ending and I'd be in jail. But so I wasn't gonna say anything.
A place known for legal prostitution.
But of course, like first I was like 21, she brought me into the room, and it was like not a massage table, it was a mattress on the floor, and mirrors on the ceiling, and I was like, but again, I was so paranoid. I'm like, unless she says something, I'm not gonna
bring it up.
So then she's like massaging me. She says like, get undressed or whatever, and then doesn't leave the room. And I'm like, okay, but I'm still not sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Then she's massaging, and she does back, and then she gets like to the butt, and she's like, she's getting into it. She's like, if you're like trying to make the butt talk, like she's like opening and closing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, at this point, I mean, I'm on my stomach, but I'm floating off the mattress, and then she goes, she just flips me over, like she puts her hands under, just like bloop, on my back, and says happy ending. I say sure.
You say
sure.
The
The whole time it's all you're thinking about.
Like, if you have to, go ahead. I don't know.
You've been thinking about it for 24 hours leading
And I'm
up to
sure,
this.
like, I'm like every other like 21-year-old American, just like trying to be chill about it, but clearly.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Do you want me to take off my shirt?" And again, why not?
Yeah.
And she took it off and did like, it was the least sexy thing. She just went like just dead in the eyes, just like this. This will do it for you, you dumb American pig. And then she got like a glove and put it all the way. It went all the way to her elbow.
I love that.
Just to show how little she wanted to do.
It's
It's like if before sex, instead of a condom, someone put on like condom pants.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want any of you touching me.
100%. She wore a mask before COVID, right?
Yeah. And then she got like a ketchup bottle of lube, just like industrial Costco, and I started going soft, like something about it entered the territory of so grungy.
Yeah, you feel weird.
But then she got started, and I was back. I was back in the races.
Not me. I stayed soft for a while, and they had like music playing, and it was Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful World."
No.
As I'm going through emotional stuff, trying to like be like, I'm a sexual being getting jerked off by a woman. My dick is soft, and "What a Wonderful World" is playing in the background. I just start laughing, and so does she. And then once she starts laughing, I come.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
You came.
I can't, like
Her
literally, I got
laughter
hard
made
for
you
10
come.
seconds and came.
Very interesting.
Because I guess I was relaxed then. Like once I started laughing, because I was like, this is so absurd.
Yeah, but that must happen to them all the time.
I know.
So I'm sure. I wonder how long they would go though before she said, "Okay, we can keep doing this, but we gotta raise the rate."
I love how you spoke to me like
you're her.
like a teacher. Okay, now.
Okay, we both know you've been soft for quite some time. Is there a different song? What song would you be like, hey, this will do it for me?
I mean, definitely not. I see trees. The Louis Armstrong in the background killed me.
What's your go-to if you want to be in the mood? Yeah.
I guess something like I guess like an R&B kind of.
I always go with R&B, but I always feel like I'm not living up to what this music is.
Really?
I don't really listen to music ever. People are like, I have a sex playlist. Do you have a sex playlist?
I usually, these days, it's so lazy, but I'm just like, Alexa, play Ice Spice.
That's great.
You're fucking
Ice Spice feels like chill and there's a beat and it's not like. But if you put on like a John Legend, I don't know if that's R&B per se.
That's love making music.
Yeah, but it's like, it's love making music. I'm in for
like you're raising the stakes.
Let's do that. Let's do it.
Yeah, let's. Oh, this will be.
I don't have anything tomorrow early.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah, a little music. I'm a talker, so I need just a little background music.
You're talking the whole time. Were you talking to the massage lady too?
No, I was very nervous then.
Yeah.
I was very nervous. Yeah.
You should go do it.
I've done one.
He's done one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you've done one.
Yeah, I think twice I've done it.
Amsterdam.
Once in Amsterdam and once in New York City.
Yeah. New York City, I'd be scared about getting busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a low. It's a low time.
It's low.
It's not. You don't go on your happiest day.
No, that's the thing.
I knew someone that would go a lot, and it was like, yeah, it's normal. And I was like, all right, I'll check it out.
Care about that.
Some people go a lot.
I went through. I was in my head. I was like, I can't believe. And then I went again, and I talked to my therapist, and she's like, it's okay that you're a guy that did this.
I love your therapist being like, okay, you're doing this every week now.
Yeah, no.
We don't need to talk about it every single time.
I haven't done it. Last time I did it 2016. I did it once in 2015, once in 2016, and I have not.
Yeah, she said it's okay that you're a guy that did this. Just don't be a guy who does this. I go, oh, that's great.
Really, I think that's a little prescriptive.
What do you mean?
Like I think that's a very specific judgment of like it being not a thing you should do regularly.
Yeah.
That is like grounded in old school.
Well, I didn't like it. I would feel bad about myself.
Oh, sure.
It was more about how it was my relationship to it. Why?
Don't feel bad about yourself.
Well, this was years ago at this point. Maybe
You think now you'd be rock hard out the gate? You'd say put on Louis Armstrong's greatest hits?
I don't know. Maybe I'll try.
It does feel.
Thank you for the homework assignment, Gianmarco.
Sure.
Me and Robbie will go together.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
So the best part about in my mind of having like a Jewish Italian parent is that you got to do Christmas one place, Hanukkah the other place, or was it both Christmas family?
So I got to do Christmas at my dad's.
Yeah, you do Christmas Eve, of course. You would do.
Yeah, and I got to do because my stepdad was raised Catholic, so I got 2 Christmases and a Hanukkah.
Oh,
nice.
Wow!
And my dad like he did Christmas. He did Christmas like he could make up for the rest of it on Christmas Day.
That's
so like I got the big like when PS2 when that was the Christmas.
I mean,
got
that's the best
PS2.
Christmas present that a boy our age has ever gotten.
I cried when I got my PS2.
Of course.
You did?
Yeah, because I couldn't fathom that my parents bought it for me.
There weren't even very good games when it first came out. That was one of the big problems with the PS2.
Really?
Yeah,
there weren't great games. No, there just weren't great games to begin
Yeah,
with.
I guess yeah.
I had like an NFL game, Gran Turismo, like a racing game that it came with.
Yeah, that game sucks.
Yeah, that game, it was so hard.
In a way, like as annoying as I'm sure it is for parents to be like, fuck, PlayStation came out with a $600 thing I have to buy now. Yeah. It also lets them like make their kids' dreams come true without having to think creatively at all.
Yeah.
Yes. It's like, yeah, you could just throw a check at it.
Yeah.
It's like
one year my dad he had money and then he didn't have money and this was
what did he
do? He gave me first he said there's 2 more gifts. One is coming a little later and he gave me like these gloves. And he spread a rumor amidst the family. He was worried that I was too excited for the next gift and it wasn't that big. And then it was a go-kart.
Oh,
and
wow.
let me tell you, we used this go-kart twice.
Whoa, no, why?
Where did you live?
Because what the fuck you gonna do with a go-kart?
Yeah.
We lived in Potomac, Maryland. We had a big like backyard, but I wasn't an outdoorsy kid. So like it was cool for that moment, but
a lot of upkeep on a go-kart too.
Yeah.
yes, it breaks that shit breaks down fast.
I love the smell of a go-kart though. that gasoline like just in your nose.
Also, go-kart's fun to race someone, so if it's just
I can't
one
drive
person.
though. I've always been a bad driver.
Really?
Yeah, I have my license, but like I had to do the 6 hours. You do it in a car with another instructor, and he has his own. He didn't have a wheel, but he had gas and brakes.
Sometimes they have the little wheel, which is funny to me.
I wish he had, but he was like mean. Like and obviously people who do this for a living, if you're gonna make your job getting in cars with kids who learn driving from Mario Kart, like you're a little fucked in the head. You kind of had a death wish going on.
That has to be one of the most dangerous jobs.
Oh, it's definitely
That should be on the list over cops.
They do a crazy thing where when they pick you up, they have whatever kid was driving. They drive to the next house, and they put that kid in the back. So now I'm like, if I fuck this up, I'm taking out another, I'm ruining another family.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And this guy, we went on the highway, and again, like I think I was having like an anxiety attack. I didn't know what it was. And as we're going down the highway, he pointed at places 2 of his past students had crashed and died.
Died?
What?
And died. And not like
this guy's wild.
And not with a lesson. Not with a like that's where, because they didn't look right and left. It was just like that's where because life.
This guy's wild.
Life, man. It happens to people.
A lesson would have been bad too.
Yeah, but I was traumatized.
Sometimes,
at least,
a teaching moment. It was just,
That's horrible.
And I keep wondering, like, especially during COVID, I was like, do I go take driving lessons or do I just wait for self-driving cars?
And how do you feel?
it's, I mean, I'd be lying to myself if I said I'm ever going to learn how to drive.
Great, so you're not going to know.
Yeah.
You live in you don't need a car.
It's the only part I'm rooting for Elon Musk is to figure out the self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been in Tesla where it drove itself. It's kind of cool.
I don't trust it yet.
You don't trust it. Do you trust you or the self-driving more right now? Right now, escape from the city. You're in a car. Tesla.
It's
Do you
Yeah,
do
it's
the
the
self-driving
Tesla.
or you drive yourself?
I would not be one of the self-drive like read a book. I'd be self-driving like this.
Yeah.
Just ready to be ready to
Yeah, I feel
to take control.
Yeah, not a nature guy.
No.
I hate
Don't
nature
like
too.
driving, don't like nature.
I grew up
You're
with
just
like
like
You're wearing a
city.
shirt with flowers.
that's the closest I'm willing to get.
Is a garden?
I wish I'd grown up in the city. I like being in the city.
Yeah.
I'm better with nature now. But I think as a kid, I was like not athletic. This grass makes my skin itch.
I know.
I'm
I was
whiny.
allergic to mosquito bites. Like, I couldn't do shit. Even you went to school in Miami.
Huge mistake.
Really?
What a huge
Really?
mistake. I think you go to visit Miami and you see palm trees. And when you see palm trees, you go, paradise.
Yes.
And then you're there for 4 years studying musical theater, and you go, what did I do?
What school did you go to?
University of Miami.
Okay.
Do you have a moment that you remember? It was like I made a huge mistake going to school here, or...
No. I think you just realize later. I think for me, like I was in the musical theater conservatory, and they were like, by the time I graduated, there were 11 of us.
How many did you start with?
20, which is still small.
Yeah.
And like that was the whole circle. That was the whole your whole community. And then you meet kids who go to NYU or go to Northwestern, and you're like, wow, they have a network. And instead, I moved to the city, and I just feel like I know nobody, and I don't have like this group, and I didn't find my people. And if I'm not really friends with many of the people from that grade anymore.
They didn't move to New York.
Some of them did. A lot of them left the industry, or one. We dated, and so she's an ex, and we're like friends now. Yeah. But it's like it's not going to be. And it's just a bummer. It feels like I don't have anyone to really talk about my college life with, like in a casual way. Just like, hey, remember that thing?
Yes.
And I went there. My sister graduated University of Miami, and I visited the campus, which is very changed because they get a lot of money. But I remember I was like walking around, like tears in my eyes, just being like, oh my God, I spent 4 years of my life at this place, and oh my God, this thing happened there and that thing happened there, and I just have no one to really like share it with on a regular basis, and that sucks.
I feel I did a lot of drugs in college, and I don't talk to them anymore. They're not with us anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't have anyone to like go down memory lane with those things.
Sure.
About when I've like fell between the subway or smoked a cigarette.
That's a fun time. I dropped my phone once early in the city, and I just went down and got it.
Oh, you did?
I just went down and got it. And I didn't
say,
even know about the third.
I see your body. I trust you.
But when I got out, there was one moment where I did and it wasn't enough. And like there was a brief second of like, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die. And then the second time I got up, and someone reading a magazine on the bench was like, "I don't think you're supposed to do that." And that was it.
After you were up.
Yeah, I don't think I would do it now.
Yeah.
I also didn't know about the third rail when I did it, so I could have. That could have been the moment.
As a New York kid, you learn about the third rail. It's like
what do they? Is it in school or do your parents tell you?
Your parents, because I would take the train to my high school and stuff like that. So it was like a big lesson. Don't touch it. And the thing was about don't pee on it. Was the big thing, because
I don't think my pee could make it.
No, but if you're on the tracks, there's like a story I've said before. Like my mom told me a story that like a boy peed on the third rail and his current was so strong that it got electrocuted and his penis blew up, and that was the last thing he saw before he died.
There's no way that he like. There wasn't enough time for him to register like my penis and then dead.
No,
that's just to freak you.
That's what my mom said. She goes. It's the last thing you want is your penis exploding, then you die. Is that, Sebastian, is that the last thing you fucking want?
That's good. That's good to scare a kid.
It scared the shit out of me. I had to, so a bunch of people, I taught a seminar for musical theater kids from, I think, Ohio that came to the city to do like casting director workshops.
Sure.
And I was like the fun improv person that was there. And they were asking for advice, and I was just like, it's hard. I think I was like one of the first people to be like, it's hard. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, I think a lot about like, I always think about like if parents, I want to create a program where parents whose kids want to get into the arts hire me at this age to talk them out of it. And I come over and I'm smoking a cigarette and I put it out on their forehead. And I show them my resume and they go, "Oh, why are there no acting things after 2015?" And then I show them my bank account. And then I lean out, I'm like, I'm 34 years old. It's like Scared Straight the musical.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's a musical?
Yeah, I think
you're
like
gonna sing to them?
Yes, but only crack.
What you don't understand is the unlikelihood that you're going to get to this level and what these other levels look like. Because if you really believed maybe I'll be on these lower levels, then you could assess, is that a life I want to live? I would take the kids to watch the 3 actors they hire that Chicago the musical hires to dress up like their characters in the show. In the middle of Times Square, and they hand out flyers, and they do like mini versions of all that jazz. And I would say to those kids, I would say, listen to me, someone auditioned for that, and didn't get it,
and they're successful.
And yes, and their friends were like, you booked?
Yes,
the Chicago flyer handing out gig.
Yeah.
Mom, I did it. I'm gonna be on 44th Street.
But what are you gonna? What are you gonna do? I mean, I remember we had an older person who came in, and they say this. They say, if you can do anything else, do it. And no kid goes, thank you, I'm out.
Yeah, no one.
That doesn't work.
But I wish someone was like, great. The reality is, if you're successful, you're going to be a poor plumber, but you'll have to hustle every day to be that poor plumber.
Yes. But I also think that the problem with these colleges is the teachers are incentivized, obviously, to not get you to quit. So if a teacher says, oh, you don't have a voice to be the thing that you think you want to be, they don't have the room to. That's why I like mean teachers. Because mean teachers will tell you the truth. Mean teachers will tell you the truth.
Yes.
And then you can finally actually make an informed decision. I think the problem with these art degrees is that the solution is to make them more varied. So like there should be a stand-up comedy class, not a stand-up comedy major, because you don't know if you're going to be a stand-up comedian. But if you do musical theater and you have the acting and you have a puppeting class and you have a stand-up, then you can at least find out where you're really good.
Yeah.
And then you need more interaction with the real world. It is jarring to go to a school and you're like, you know, the 3rd best singer, 4th best singer in your class, and then you go to New York and you're the worst singer in the entire goddamn city.
And you did open calls. You would show up and go to those at like Ripley Greer sitting.
I only did one because I realized, I think I had a moment where I was like, oh, this is not the way to make it with my abilities.
Yes.
I went to the non-union Phantom of the Opera Ensemble Broadway call just to see. Waited 3 hours. I was in line at, Champion Studios or some shit. Yeah. And the walls were so thin you could hear everyone else singing. And I would hear these astounding singers for the non-union choir roles. And I was like, oh, I'll never make it this route.
Yeah. Well, that's good that you knew that immediately.
Sure, there's other people still going to the equity buildings. You go like, and they're waiting hours. The time wasted.
That's why I told my agent I'm done doing commercial auditions.
Really? You'd be great in commercials.
I only play the fucking fat loser you don't want to be. You ever see like a Subway ad? You cut to someone eating delicious sub, and then you cut to the guy with a burger that spills it all over his shirt.
Do you?
I once had an audition that I had to go in the room. I had to take my shirt off, and 2 fit actors that didn't do comedy had to stand there and make fun of me because I wanted to sign up to work out. So the 2 fit actors had to stand there. They made fun of me. I stood there with my shirt off, and the casting director goes, "Great, just stand there and look sad." And I wasn't allowed to say a word the entire time as these 2 actors just looked at my body and made fun of me.
If I had gone to audition for that with you, I would have forgiven you a lot sooner. I'll tell you that right now. No, I feel that way.
I was like, what the fuck? And I would spend hours at these places for commercial auditions being like, great, I booked a few, like who cares?
Sure. But that's I don't know. It's such a I'm glad I still do what I do.
Yeah.
I just wish I'd figured out the things I was good at sooner. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And I just think college is too expensive to do 4 years of this.
It's a waste of money.
Yeah, and it's but it's necessary in certain way.
Yeah,
I don't think at 18,
yeah.
as much as my fantasy is that at 18 I'd move to the city and figure it out. I wish at 18 I'd moved to the city and started at UCB.
Yeah, sure.
and figured life out. But I do think I wasn't one of those mature kids who could figure that out at that age.
Yeah.
I would have been I would have been lost.
And a lot of the people that did that were lost.
Yeah.
It's only Zach Woods that did that one?
Yeah. But these teachers, I think these programs are spreading. There's more and more. There's now a comedy major at Emerson.
I know.
And again, I don't think it's inherently bad to be you want to do comedy. But if I was to make a comedy major, there'd be so much about producing and editing. It would be such a full gamut of being in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And then as you're going along, you could opt in for more of these classes or less of these classes.
A class had to sit at a table and go from bits to normal to sad talk.
Yeah.
Bits to sad talk.
Yeah. And instead they have a class, when I was in theater, they would have the makeup class. And it was this is not as important. This is not.
You'll never
you're
do
out
your
of
makeup.
Exactly, and they're part of it's teachers who quit in the 80s.
Yeah.
And the problem is a lot of these teachers, and I think some of them can be great. I don't feel like shaming teachers writ large, but
failures.
There's plenty of them that failed.
Yes, they're failures.
Yeah.
That failed.
And then are projecting it on you, and it's and also it's totally different than 3 years ago. Comedy. Trying to break through how to make so even a program if you graduated 3 years ago is not necessarily the algorithm. Everything is changing.
To a comedy course now than a 60-year-old.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes,
unless they're really in tune or
but
whatever.
You could go out and do stuff.
Sure.
And a 60-year-old can't or doesn't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to teach a class.
I feel I think I would enjoy stand-up comedy workshops. I love talking about joke structure and things, but I do feel there's a lot of people who teach those classes that you look at them and you're like, who's teaching the class?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. And I'm oh, that's what it all is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm happy that we got you to Spiral.
Yeah, I have so many regrets for college and sometimes I don't think my parents could. When I was a kid, I was just I want to be a Broadway star, so I have to do this.
Yes.
No one could have talked me out of majoring in musical theater.
Really?
No one could have talked me out of it.
Were your parents into musicals at all?
No, I think they just...
You were just a star in high school?
They had some money.
Great.
They had some money.
Yeah.
And B, I was always functional. I was never oh my God, this report card is insane. I'm not saying I was the smartest, but I always I never fell way by the wayside. And so they're he's got it. And I think I just fell for these teachers who professed to know the secrets. And I thought I'm going to be so good at singing or I'm going to be so good at acting that it just kind of happens.
Yeah.
And I remember I had a meeting with the head of the musical theater program at the time. And I was it was the general, who are you? What do you want to do? And I was I want to be a leading man. And he was sure, you could be an offbeat leading man. And I said, oh, sorry, you misheard me. I said leading man. And he was sure, weird, lanky, Jewish leading man. And at the top, and I remember that moment only because he was trying to tell me something, but I was at the age where I thought that I could play
Jean
you know, Jean Valjean, or like that I was some good look. I thought it was good look. I thought it was better looking. I thought I wasn't a little bit
You're a
weird.
good-looking guy.
You're good looking.
Sure.
I seen your shirt off.
Sure,
You got the cum guts.
But then say,
you think you're the best
Jeff
looking?
Goldblum. You say, oh, you gotta be like, you gotta be different.
Eccentric.
You're not gonna be. I'm not gonna be the guy in Carousel, Billy Bigelow.
No.
Like someone should have said, oh, you want to be a blue collar worker? Your maid made your bed until you were 18. Shut the fuck up. You're gonna play. You don't look like a guy who's ever picked up a hammer. You're never gonna do this, and that's why you want a mean teacher.
Yes.
You want a mean teacher who says, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah.
I want a teacher who says, like, you know what? Get a hammer and a nail. Hang up this painting.
Yeah.
Hang up this painting. You're gonna play a carpenter,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd start crying, and I'd break the wall, and then they'd say, "There you go." That's what you need. But instead, and I feel like teachers, like, not to be like everyone's too sensitive, but I feel like people are scared of lawsuits. Yeah. Colleges, you're paying all this money, you want tenure, and especially in the arts,
of course,
when you need some objectivity. Yeah. I imagine everyone's too freaked out, and people just never find out the truth. And you know people who never find out the truth, and they're 60 and they're 70 and they're 80 and they can't afford health insurance, and you're like, if only someone had the chutzpah to say, you suck.
I'm quitting after this episode.
But you're good.
I'm
you know
truly
you're good.
quitting. I'm trying. No, I get by. You know what sucks? I'm at the place where I make just enough money. I can live, and that's the worst fucking place to be.
Let's get a homeless guy in here right now. To be like, whoa, just enough. I thought I had it bad.
Let me tell you,
my God.
The worst thing that can happen in your life, homeless man, is if you're good enough at comedy just to skate by. No, it's just like awkward, like I'm just constantly poor.
I get that.
Yeah, I like.
But you've had enough. You've had like enough cool things. You know that it could happen.
Yes.
That
no,
money,
you're talented
consistent
enough.
money.
You go on stage, you hear people laugh.
I've had pilots that don't go, yada yada, stuff like that.
Weren't you in that show that was on Pop? Or what was the network?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
so
you've done it
for Pop.
You've done it. Like I was like the General Electric spokesman for like 2 years. So I'm like, oh, it could have. There's a world.
Sure.
There's a world.
There's a world.
Where I make good money.
There's a world. Well, we can't talk about the SAG. No,
oh
I'm
yes.
kidding. No, fuck around.
I mean, if I was non-union, I could work a lot more. I miss those days. I worked a lot.
Oh, isn't that crazy?
Oh, it's nuts.
My buddy got so pissed when he became union. It's so fucked.
Well, that's the problem. That certainly lose some of the strength of the union when, like, I would tell my friends, like, don't join SAG until you have to.
I know.
Because I think there was a different time where, like, if you wanted to work in movies, I think what's so interesting about the strike is, like, you have two very different groups of people, and it's people who don't really work, who are obviously more than happy to be on strike. Yeah. And then you have people who like this is their work. And it's not to say that like you shouldn't strike at all, but it's like it's two very different worlds. Yeah. Like some people were like with the writers' strike, they're like, oh, you're going to threaten writers with poverty? We're all poor. And I'm like, no, some people, they have
the
a
majority
family,
is poor though.
And sure, but it's like this, it's very interesting because you have two very different groups kind of talking as if they're coming from the same place, and they're not.
87% of people
well, that's what we were just talking about. Don't have health insurance.
Don't get health insurance from SAG because they don't make $24,000.
Of course, I had it when I did the General Electric commercials.
I've had it a few years too.
And let me tell you what the worst thing is: to have it and then to lose it.
I've done that journey to call it Medicaid
from level 1 to level 2.
Oh
to
God!
You had to say goodbye to the doctor. The doctor was like about to put in the new heart, and he was like, "Oh."
You didn't book.
Couldn't book. Maybe new headshots.
If Blue Bloods would air just a couple more times, I could fix this artery.
I know.
I miss it. There were so many medical things
that you did in that time.
In my mind, I was like, no, I wish I had. In my mind, I was like, oh, when I get SAG insurance, that's when I'll get this checked out. That's when I'll deal with this.
Sure, yes.
And now I'm like, oh, buddy, you got to get this checked out. It's about to fall off.
Sure.
Yeah.
My advice for anyone out there, when you're on your parents' insurance, do everything you possibly can.
Again, it's just so many ways that we just don't prepare.
Just do everything.
No, there's a lot of, How could you prepare?
I wish my parents sat me down and be like, great, go to every doctor and just get scripts for everything for a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think my parents assumed I would have health insurance right now.
I know.
I'm on. I think it's called catastrophic care. I'm still on that.
Nice. Yeah.
And that's like
I'm on Medicaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have to renew it. I just got an email. I worked for a bank until I was 26.
Wow.
So I had health insurance and I had money.
Chase the bank. You heard of it?
I do.
Chase the
I'm
bank.
a member.
You're a member.
Yeah, I'm a member as well.
I didn't realize we were talking to a member of
And
Chase.
then you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost. It's a totally different life. I live a totally different life
That
now.
shit people don't. No one tells you about this. That you don't have health insurance.
But I didn't struggle like that my whole 20s.
I think the biggest thing about having money is just like not having to deal with the medical system the way I do right now. It's just a fucking nightmare.
It's sad.
I know. People with money don't. Yeah.
My primary care physician just quit. I got a letter and he was like, he's gone.
He quit.
And he left. They just said he left. They didn't say anything. I was like, did he kill someone? Is he bad? Do I need to ask all the questions again with someone new? He liked making jokes. And I was like really like paranoid. And if I asked him, I said, I worry sometimes that my uncle had dementia and my dad's weird. And maybe I have dementia.
Your dad's weird.
You think you have early? Oh, this is
Early
why you're
onset dementia.
early
Oh,
onset
I'm sorry.
dementia.
And then he was like, well, you could. And I was like,
That's not funny.
I was like, please, can this be a non-joke space?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So one place I don't want jokes.
1,000%.
And he would fuck with me constantly.
Oh God! Will you? He saw you online, or you told him you do comedy?
No, I think he was Jewish, and maybe he thought as like, and I felt like, oh, you're a Jew, you understand my anxiety.
Yeah.
But no, he just would fuck with me.
Jesus.
Maybe that's why he was fired. Or one of his patients ended up having early onset dementia and didn't take it seriously because he was joking about it. And I'm next.
Was he like? He was just a primary care physician, not like a dementia specialist by any means.
No, I was trying to see like a brain person, but like the number of hoops I have to fucking go through.
Do you smoke
this
weed?
shit. Yeah. I
You do?
do a more mints.
Okay.
Edibles.
Yeah.
I like edibles. I'm a 2.5 type of guy right now.
I'm a 2.5 all the time, especially if I'm really like if I'm going on the treadmill or if I'm doing like a boring workout, I like taking that. It makes it more fun.
Yeah, it's just enough to feel okay about life.
Social. I mean, my girl, if I'm with for her events,
You do
I'm
the
just socially
2.5.
awkward, and 2.5 makes me really chatty.
A little calmer.
Yeah.
Wants to make jokes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what she wants.
So I like that. So maybe it's that.
Yeah. I don't know. No, I think that helps actually. Because I smoke every day, and dementia is scary. Like I think my grandma has it, and I'm just like that existence is just like wild to the point where it gets really bad, and it is scary. I'm like I would not wish this on anybody, and I'm just like in my head.
You think though? Has she been diagnosed? Or you
No,
just
she
think?
is. No,
Oh, she
100% has 24-hour cover. Like I lived with her for a period of time, and it's like it's only gotten worse since I lived with her, and it's just like not good. And I just think about her life every day where she doesn't know anyone, and it's just a constant loop of like 3 minutes of not knowing. It's just like
Sure.
that she knows my dad, I think, who goes every day, but it's just like not good. And I think about that. I'm like, I can't even imagine living like that. I want to do everything I can to prevent it. So I'm like, I smoke weed every day. Is this bad or good? And I think it's good. But I'm like,
it's good?
that's what it said in the. I'm looking at
Yeah,
these,
but
but
that's
then
the
I go
problem.
back and forth. But
That's-
I'm like, I
Who
do
did the
feel
study?
slower because I smoke weed every day. But apparently, it's not bad for dementia.
It's just so complicated. It's like eggs. I had one doctor who said, don't eat the eggs, the cholesterol, and then the other.
Yeah.
This doctor said, eat as many eggs as you want.
Yeah.
And it's
Well,
impossible.
that's the other
like,
thing. You don't know anything.
And then if you really look into the science of it, my dad got me a book about cholesterol, a little like pamphlet, and I'm just trying to read this. And I'm like, I don't understand a goddamn word. I'm a half a page in, and I'm like, I can't comprehend what any of this means.
Yeah.
That's the thing with people who are like with the vaccine. You're like, could you understand?
No.
I know I'm stupid. I just wish these other people realize like, oh, they're also stupid.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's not that like maybe there's questions, but it's like you don't even know which ones to ask.
I know.
I know.
I think about that all the time. Like I was in biology class with you. I know that
Yes.
you couldn't understand what an ATP is.
There
You
should
don't-
be like a
you
very
don't know
basic
cell
like, 8th grade-
membrane.
are you
like,
smarter than a
is-
5th grader? Like they
yeah.
should have to pass that in science.
And
And
now
that's
you're
the
posting
tier
these
of Twitter
things.
you're allowed on.
Like,
Yes.
yeah.
Or how
Yes.
many people are allowed to see your views.
Yeah, that's like it's wild. But
yeah.
I have no idea. But I do think about that. I went to the emergency room because I thought I was having a heart attack. I went to a cardiologist. They're like, "You're good, man. You don't have to come here for 10 years."
What happened?
No, I just get anxiety
He's
about
got
like
insurance.
I convinced myself that it's all going down. The ship is
Sure.
He took
Sure.
Molly.
the ship is sinking.
You took Molly.
I took Molly and I went to the eye doctor and I had a panic attack. And the eye doctor, I thought I was gonna be
He
blind.
took Molly.
And he was like, "Bro, you're good."
He took Molly.
He like dilated my eye. No, that's well, I did coke and then I thought I was gonna
Oh,
die.
there we go. There we go.
Well, drugs I can't do. I
See,
realize
but
I can't
you
do
say you're
because
paranoid, but like I could never do coke.
in your life.
I mean, I did it like twice, like little amounts, but
I've
like,
only- yeah, done little
casually with all
amounts.
the fentanyl shit, like no.
Well, this was in
fucking way.
2016.
I know.
That, like
Yeah,
I
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
really.
Back when no
Recently.
one had ever died of coke. 2016.
No, well, I just wasn't. Fentanyl, I guess, wasn't a thing.
I think it was a lot less in 2016.
Oh,
People
for
dying
sure.
of coke.
Now fentanyl
Of,
is
like,
like
one time you
heroin
try
like
it.
isn't even heroin really anymore. It's just fentanyl.
And I just watched his doc. It's not even fentanyl isn't even enough for some people now. Now they're combining benzos and fentanyl into the same thing and selling them to people.
Part of it, though, the reason that it's so imbalanced, because they don't want to necessarily kill their customers, but they
They
use.
do.
No, but sometimes because it's a good advertisement.
It's good
like, it's a strong
advertisements,
shit.
of
It's like if
course.
someone like died of laughing too hard at one of my shows.
That would be great.
My sales will go through the roof.
That would be. You show up to the funeral and be like,
Yeah.
just tease with the mic. Oh, will I talk?
I was gonna slip some fentanyl into one of their drinks so people think it was the laughter. But it's also because they use a NutriBullet to mix like the powder.
Are you kidding me?
And NutriBullet is not ideal for powders. So sometimes you might get a line that's
Ooh,
just
this
all the
already makes
flour or
me
whatever,
anxious.
just the
Oh.
cocaine, and then you get the other line that's all fentanyl, and that's when you die.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I don't think it's like a.
Who told you that they're using NutriBullets?
This I listened to. It was a podcast called The War on Drugs, and it was specifically about someone who studies the rise of fentanyl.
Wow. Don't be anxious.
Interesting.
You don't do coke.
I am
That's
anxious.
an easy way to solve
I know I
that
don't,
problem.
but still, it just makes.
I'm not
just
scared of
knowing
roller
this-
coasters. I don't go on them.
True, that's true.
Like, what are we
Yeah.
talking here?
Yeah.
Right? So don't be scared of coke. You
I
don't do
know.
it.
You're right.
Feel bad for the people that are out here that are addicted that have to deal with this bullshit.
That's true. I should be more sympathetic.
This was beautiful that you came on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Gianmarco.
Had
It
such
was
a good
fun.
time.
I have a question.
Great time.
Please.
You still mad at me? Are we?
Are
do
we
you
cool?
leave
Are we
my
all
grudge?
cool?
I
I mean,
honestly
leave with the grudge. I'm fine with the grudge.
I honestly say that whatever that was, it faded a long time ago.
That's
And I think
beautiful.
it's just because we used to see each other at what was that space UCB was occupying for like a half second. Remember it was like Fridays through Sundays or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Caveat.
We ran into
Yes,
each other
yes,
in
yes.
those
No.
spaces.
Yeah.
Subculture.
And everything was so. I promise.
There we go.
I promise.
Well, I have no grudges against you.
It's good.
I would hope that that next time I see you that you're eating a banana as well, though. That's the only thing I hope.
Yeah, I'm gonna go buy some after this.
Nice.
What do you want to plug?
I do stand up. Find me online and just come to shows. But listen to my podcast if you're a podcast person. The
Yeah.
Downside with Gianmarco Soresi. It's a good time.
I love that, Robbie.
Loud about nothing.
Beautiful. All
Keep
right.
listening. Follow the YouTube. Follow the Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. All the same stuff.
All right, Robbie. Hit the music.